Alright guys, this amazing replay features a card that I even featured on one of the worst cards ever called the Wicked Worm Beast. But anyways, Crab Turtle has figured out how to pull off an OTK with this card that is a loop, and it's hilarious. I think that this is super cheesy, so don't go in thinking that you're going to be topping no YCSs with this card, unless, of course, you got them Heart of the Cards. You could technically FTK with this, but it would involve certain cards that would let you go +1. Cards like Pot of Desires, Cup of Ace, anything that lets you go strictly at +1 to actually pull it off. This Skull Servant player over here is going to smack him for 4k. Smack for 24, but it don't matter. You guys will see an OTK pulled off with the Wicked Worm Beast, and it's crazy because I featured this card in one of the episodes of like the worst cards ever made. This card's terrible. This face-up card on the field returns to the owner's hand during the end phase of your turn, which you're like, what the heck? How do you pull off an OTK or an FTK with this? Watch, guys, you'll see. Now, this is a really difficult thing to pull off. Like I said, you're gonna have Heart of the Cards to pull this off. There's a lot of stall cards, so if you've played Final Countdown, you understand how you stall with certain cards like Waboku, you stall, a Battle Fader, Swoop Scare card. It's a lot of that kind of stalling, but it's a very difficult OTK to pull off. So here's the setup, and I'll explain the things real quick. So this is what it requires. It requires Zombie World, Dark World Grimoire, Soul Absorbing Bone Tower. Now this card is optional, but it definitely helps out. In addition to that, the Wicked Worm Beast. So that's what you require to pull this off. You might as well play Exodia. I understand. But it's hilarious that someone used one of the cards that I even claimed was one of the worst cards ever made. You guys agreed with me though, okay? So it's not like I'm a rogue on that opinion. But nonetheless, over here you guys will see the loop that is being pulled off. So Soul Absorbing Bone Tower makes it so each time a zombie type monster, because we're reading the second effect by the way. The first effect, don't worry about that. Each time a zombie type monster is special summoned, your opponent sends the top 2 cards of their deck to the graveyard. And with Zombie World, the Wicked Worm Beast then becomes a zombie. So he's going to be special summoned over and over because of the Dark World Grimoire. So this card makes it so during end phase, if you discard a monster because you had too many cards, you get to special summon one of those monsters. And then with Finite cards, he only has the limit of 3 cards in his hand, so he has to discard that card over and over, and that's going to proc Soul Absorbing Bone Tower, so he's going to go ahead and just deck his opponent out. And that's how you pull off the Wicked Worm Beast FTK/OTK. I know this one wasn't OTK. Like I said, you can FTK with it, with that loop, but it's going to be very difficult. But I'm sure, you try hard enough, you'll get it. And I know some of you guys probably want the deck profile, even though I would suggest you guys to probably play Exodia if you want like a cheesy deck that's more consistent. But it's technically a fun deck, and I know you guys want to try other things, troll your opponent. I understand. But anyways, the Wicked Worm Beast. Got 3 copies of him. Oh, shoutouts again to Crab Turtle for figuring out this amazing, like, it's dumb, but it's hilarious at the same time. 3 copies of the Wicked Worm Beast. 3 copies of Soul Absorbing Bone Tower. 3 copies of Card D so you can get that draw power. Then we got 2 copies of Max Z for more draw power. Now this is one card I didn't understand. If you are playing with the card pre-errata, I could understand the Sinister Serpent, but if not, I don't really recommend this card because you can only use its effect once per turn. If it was like, you can keep on getting its effect over and over, but only like, once during, like, I don't know, what would the exact wording be? Because it's only once per turn, so I feel like it's just not that good, but, I don't know, I just don't understand this Crab Turtle. If you could explain the Sinister Serpent, I would love it. But next up, we got 3 copies of Cyber Valley. So this card, it lets you stall, it lets you draw. It has options. However, I feel like this card gets destroyed pretty easy. I'm going to make some card suggestions also to make it a little bit better. I feel like this card can be okay with Battle Fader, so I don't think you guys need to drop it completely. But I think Scarecrow is an excellent addition to this deck, which I'll get into in a second. But next up, we got 3 copies of Battle Fader. We got 1 copy of Watchdog. So during your main phase 2, if this card was normal summon this turn, you get to send 1 spell card from your hand to the graveyard, and then you get to set 1 continuous spell card directly from your deck. You can't spell summon if you activate this effect, but it lets you go for a lot of different things. It lets you go for Shard of Greed. It also lets you go for Dark World Grimoire. It also lets you go for a Finite card. So it has some options. I don't think it's like a terrible choice. Although it doesn't let you pull off an FTK. So if you want to go for the FTK, you just definitely drop this guy over here. Next up, we got One Day at Stall, because it doesn't really matter that you can't deal damage because you're going to deck your opponent out. We got one Upstart Goblin. Now, swords are really light. It does kind of bait your opponent to, you know, MST, Twin Twisters, whatever they want to go for to get rid of this card. So I don't think it's like the worst card. However, I feel like cards like Swift Scarecrow are just much more consistent. Swift Scarecrow. If you really just Swift Scarecrow, I think it's just a little bit better. But I wanted to give you guys the OG deck profile from Crab Turtle before I made the changes. But yeah. Anyways, next up we got 3 copies of Shards Agreed. I feel like you gotta go fast or go home. I feel like that card, it does bait out things, so if you guys want to try it, go for it. But I feel like for cheesy decks, if you want the highest consistency to pull it off, try to pull it off in one turn. You need cards that let you just go plus. And Pot of Desires will let you actually do that. Grimoire 3, it's required for the OTK, so I think that's fine. Then we have 3 copies of Zombie World. Yeah, again, required for it, so go for it. Now with Waboku, oh, there's also Terraforming, but you guys can run multiple copies if you want, because Zombie World is kind of required anyways for the win condition. But Waboku, I feel like Threatening Roar is just a way better version of it. The reason why is because certain cards, they still have effects when they attack. Waboku doesn't prevent them from being able to attack, but it does prevent you from taking damage. So it is good in one sense, but Threatening Roar makes it so they can't attack. It's not really relevant, but Gladiator Beasts, they would still tag out for their effects. But if they can't declare their attack, then they can't tag out. But I feel like it's just like outclassing other cards. There's also Cup of Ace as another card, Cup of Ace. If you guys really want to try to push your luck, I mean, I don't know if you want to drop card D, but whatever you decide to drop out, whoops, I didn't really even drop out Finite cards. You probably should keep that. I don't understand the Sinister Serpent, but Finite cards? Okay, there we go. Here's like another build if you guys want to try out this one. I didn't understand the Sinister Serpent, but like I said, you're going to need to pull, if you want the FTK to go through, guys, to deck your opponent out, you're going to need some of these extra cheesy kind of cards where RNGs, but nonetheless, I don't really recommend you guys to try to take this deck serious. I mean, it's a Wicked Worm Beast OTK deck out loop. Like, well, it's crazy. I still can't believe someone figured it out. Like, I think I even featured this card on like one of the ugliest cards ever. This card is too good, man. But Crab Turtle, you really outdid yourself with this. But I enjoy this kind of crazy decks. I really do. But it's more fun than anything. So enjoy messing around with this deck. If you guys would like to give any suggestions, I'd love to hear them down below. I feel like you could probably do this with some other combo, but nonetheless, guys, that is the Wicked Worm Beast Zombie FTK Loop Deck Out, or OTK. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure you guys get a like button, a titty slap. And also hit that subscribe button for more crazy Yu-Gi-Oh combos and videos.